I've survived 1,250 days in my hardcore world, and so far I have built giant communities, giant farms, and a giant factory. But I still don't have a giant castle. I mean, I do, but it's also not that big. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it, but I think we can make it better. So today, I want to build a giant castle outside of the cave and take you along in the process. Now, the spot I've chosen for this is this hill right over here. And well, it has a lot of trees on it. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I can't count. But you get the point. And hopefully also the hint that I'm going to be cutting all of these down. Here at the Stam channel, we love some deforestation. Wait, excuse me, who wrote this script? Don't mind the missing hearts, my landing was super smooth. And that was a lot more trees than I thought. It took me a while. This love is kind of in the way. So, dirt. And I'm gonna cover this up because I don't want the sound in my castle. Thank you very much. Alright, that's a lot better. Now we can finally start building this castle. I don't know where to start. So, heading over here to the cave, checking this. Yes, I do have stone. Okay. Ooh, these are also full. I'm just gonna take those. Thank you very much. This will be perfect. Because what is really the first step to any build? Well, of course, the planning phase. So, starting over here, I want to extend in the first tower. And I think I want this one to be like a round one, maybe. I'm just gonna start placing block and I'll see where this all comes. So I'm thinking this for the shape. And then we could extend out, let's see, 1, 2, 3... 4 and 5. Remove these. And that right there would be the main entrance. I mean, we'll have to do a little bit of terraforming, but yeah, I think that could work. So if we go off this block now, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'll go skip the corner block. And then this will be our second entrance tower. So from here, let's start a building. We'll extend this up a few blocks first. Maybe about here for now. Then we'll extend this out another 8 blocks. So it'd be a rectangle like this, but that's a little boring. So maybe let's extend out like a round part here in the front. And this could be like a little balcony, perhaps? Yeah, that could be cool. And we could look out over this the way. Next up, let's start another tower shape right over here. And oh, this block might be a little hard to use here, but I think it'll be fine. And I think we'll use the same design that we used down there. Or well, shape. We haven't really got to the design part yet. Like this, and that could be like a little wall. We're gonna need some wall leading off this side here and see, what is that, like 4 blocks? All right, but let's speed this up a little bit. Continuing on, planning out the backside of the castle, I added in another 3 towers and the plan for the main hall building. Now we're starting to come back around here, and I haven't had time to add in like a big tower, and I think this corner right here might be the best spot for it. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip the corners on these, and then we'll go out another 7 blocks, and that will be our biggest tower. Now I just gotta connect this up to down there. Let's have a quick look at this from above, and ooh, I'm liking this. But this area is open here, and I did leave a flat wall here, so let's extend this in a few blocks. And with a few, I mean a lot, probably. Let's bring this back around. Let's add in a gate here. So we'll do 3 blocks in here. Go a 5 block gap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 more blocks here. Go to the opposite side, line these up, obviously. Now that's good, but this area here is still a little open, so maybe let's bring out a few blocks here. We'll go 3, and then this all the way over to the wall. And let's round this corner off here too. I think it's a little too open. Connecting this up right over here. That gives this part a little more shape. And maybe let's add in another gate, so there's like a 90-degree turn here. Now I think this is a great start to this plan, but I want to tackle this a little differently to what I did my other castle. So let's actually extend in the shapes with stone as well. Yeah, this might be a waste of time, or it might help me a lot. We'll see. So first of all of this gotta extend down into the ground. And ooh, I have a visitor. Hello? Oh, I added this. Oh yes, I need all of this. And oh, you have emerald deep slate ore. Oh, I don't think I have one. I have the normal ore, but I do not have the deep slate, sadly. All right, there's one block I want to go look for. So let's dive down into this cave here. Oh, yeah, there it is. And up we go. Give me all the blocks. Thank you. And oh, that is a box full of amazing stuff. I guess you can live now. But that's enough of a distraction, because we need to start getting some height on these buildings. So I think we'll start with the buildings, and then we'll do the towers after that. And this is going to use a lot of stone. And I think this height will be good. Cool. And now we just have to extend up the walls. Then if we come to one of the corners here, let's extend this up 3 blocks, extend this across. And then finish it up with the last 3 blocks. I think that's a good height. But that's only the first building, and I have like 3 more. Well, let's extend these up too then. Next up, let's start from this end over here and start extending up towers. Oh, I think we have an issue here. I'm out of stone. And I think we also might be out of stone here. Yep, I am. Ooh. Well, you guess where I'll be the next little while. I'll be mining stone. All this just to tear it back down again. A lot more stone cleared and 2 more shulker boxes in hand. And if this is not enough, then I don't even know what to do with myself. Finishing up the stone plan of the castle, extending up every single wall. And having a quick look at this now, you might start to get the size of this. Okay, good. Down here, it looks awesome as well. I know it's just some shapes and a grey blob right now, but it still looks amazing. I was a little worried because I hadn't thought about the sightline from down here before, but I think it's going to work out perfectly. Now, let's see. Yes, okay, I do have a bit of packed mud here. Some mud bricks too, that's good. And you find a few more coarse dirt and maybe some rooted dirt. Ah, perfect. Rooted dirt and coarse dirt. Then in this box, I should have some jungle. Let's grab just a stack of logs. Now, with all these blocks, I gotta fix up the terrain and add in some ground here because I don't want these gates to be this, like, large. I think we'll cut off this one right about here. So that's 4 blocks. Yeah, that should be good. Kinda like this layer here. So let's add in one here. And then I want to try adding in patches of this stuff instead of just doing it like spread out all the way, because I think patches looks better. And what I mean by that is we'll just add in like a patch of packed mud here, for example, and then we'll do around this, we'll put the coarse and rooted dirt, so like that. Oh, and before I completely forget, I might be good to put some lanterns down here because, yeah, I don't want mob noises below my castle. But I'm not done yet. I still have to extend all of this terrain here all the way down there. Now, this right here is the scary part, where I have to bring this level all the way down there. But I'm going to be putting that off a little longer, grab my mud brick slabs, and craft some jungle slabs. And now to make this transition from layer to layer a little bit smoother, let's add in these slabs. Yeah, that really was like a 2-minute distraction, but it's looking great, and the walls even look better with some ground in here. But now I need to tackle this, and I don't even know where to start. I'm thinking we could kind of like curve it up like vroom, vroom. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna give it a go. And finally, we have all of the pathways fitted in, and it worked out pretty well. I think I need to fix up the terrain a little bit. I'm not sure if I like the grass, but I'm also not sure what blocks I'm going to use for the walls yet. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. So I'm going to just leave the grass for now, and it doesn't look half bad, but maybe I want to get some like organized walls. Oh, actually, I know exactly what I want to do. I gotta do it now. Let's grab a bit of deep slate, and then coming in here, especially in like this place here, bring up some deep slate, going up like this. So we do like this. I think that is good. It's a big contrast from what we have on the ground, so that's great. Then let's try polished deep slate slabs first. And then we'll try some deep slate bricks here. I think I like the slabs more. They're both slabs. I'm dumb. I like the polish more. And now we've also kind of ruled out deep slate for the walls of the castle, which I'm a fan of, because I don't want this to be a dark and gloomy castle. Taking a step back here, and the addition of some path blocks in between these giant stone structures makes this build really start to take shape. With the plan now all done and the pathways all in, I think it's time to move on from phase 1 to phase 2. Alright, so let's head back over to the storage room now. And I want something light here to contrast the deep slate. So some tuff I think can be good. We're gonna need a lot of andesite. And I also want some cobblestone. Then we'll make a gradient. And this is a lot lighter than our deep slate, and I think this will contrast that very well. However, I don't think we can just have some stone blocks for it, because I think that would be quite boring. We need a little bit of color. And for a color, I think we can grab some granite, bricks, normal terracotta, jungle, and then we'll place these blocks. And I don't think we're going to put a gradient on these because it's kind of hard. Now, I know we use a similar block palette to this castle over here, but I think it'll be fine. So let's go gather up some blocks. That's not good. Uh-oh. A little bit bored of mining now, so let's grab another shulker box and let's fill this with jungle. Cool, we now have 4 of the blocks, and I might be overgathering, grabbing a shulker of each, but for future use, right? And so next up, let's grab up all the granite we need. And trading away with a few masons here to get all the brick we need. And last bricks we'll grab here down in the chest because, well, the top guys ran out of trades. And we'll grab our second last block here, which is terracotta. And this really shouldn't be that hard. There's so much of it, and haste 2 makes this awesome. And before we head back home, I think there's a few villages here. Yep. And I want to raid them for wheat. And it looks like I've already raided this one. And believe it or not, I'm 1,300 days into this world, and I still don't have a wheat farm. I don't have a wheat field. These should be the last hay bales I need for 3 stacks. No, 2 more. But it's actually just as close to go home now, to go back to the portal. So we'll just fly home and see if we can find any more on the way. I won't complain about more wheat. So we just take all of this mud and all of this wheat, and we just craft it into packed mud. All right, we got a shulker box of every single block we needed now. This is probably most definitely overkill. And I think we want to do this building first, just to see if this is actually going to work. Alright, that's a good base for this. Now let's start extending in the colors. For the top part of this block palette, I used a feature in the Tweaker room mode called Block Randomizer. This automatically randomizes a set amount of blocks and allows for easier randomization. A friend of mine named Gutty taught me this trick, and you should definitely go give his Twitch streams a watch. Forget what I said earlier about the build starting to come alive, because now it actually is. I guess we just gotta continue then. But one thing that's certain, I gotta get a beacon up, because mining the stone is gonna take ages. And beacon goes in, and with a diamond in that, and then haste 2. Now, using the same build technique as before, I extended in the base blocks being cobblestone, andesite, and tuff. Then moved on to using the randomizer, filling in the main portion of the walls with packed mud, bricks, granite, jungle planks, and terracotta. I can continue working with this block palette and fill this building in as well, and that one, but that might be a little bit boring. Now, I gotta hop into a creative world here to get some gradients for these. Over here in the creative world, I got these 2 new gradients to match with this one, and in my opinion, they match pretty well. So let's hop back into the hardcore world. And now with that plan, let's get a few blocks. Now, I have most of these blocks or farms for them, but there's one I don't have, and that is a few coral blocks. And flying back into the castle now from the backside here, I have another 4 shulker boxes full of blocks that I want to use. I think I'm going to start with the 2 buildings. For the second building, I decided to use a very light block palette in hope of this building sticking out a little bit among the rest. Following up on the main buildings being done, I moved on to building up the towers. I decided to use dark gray to white gradient for most of the towers, just because I really like this gradient. Still gotta work on the terrain on this side, but all of these blocks are looking perfect. Now, there's still a lot of stones showing, so I want to replace that next. And for the walls, I think we're gonna grab some basalt, tuff, and some cobblestone. So added in all of these walls now, and well, I have to decorate them a little bit and add some top things so they actually stick out a little more, but for now it's good. And I want to add in these, but using the same wall texture is gonna get a little bit repetitive. So instead I want to use all of this stone brick I made, and since this is more inside of the castle, it's gonna be more protected against the elements and might look a little nicer. And now we want to take this into the wall 1 block, but this side here is going to be a staircase. And for the other one, I think we're going to add in a little bit of andesite behind here. We'll use a few cobblestone stairs, fill in the sides with some andesite. For now, that's enough. And we'll give this side the same treatment. That's good for now, as I just want to get the main blocks in, and we'll come back and detail it later. We'll quickly just replace this right over here and fill it in with the pattern we used on the other buildings. Perfect. And for this one here, I think we're also going to make this one look a little neater with some stone bricks. I really like this with the andesite walls. It needs a little bit more detail, of course, but I think I'm going to extend it and use it over here as well. And that's all added in now, and it looks maybe a little bit repetitive in here, but with details, I think we'll be fine. Now, with all of the actual blocks in for the walls, this is starting to look really good, but there's one major thing still missing. And that is the roofs. But for the truth, I gotta go do a little more material gathering. I'm gonna need a bunch of spruce and dark oak. Should have enough of these 2 already. A few extra stone brick parts. And I'll check here my wool farm. I have a bit of grey wool. I think this might almost be enough. I also want a little bit of cyan wool and a lot of green wool. I have to gather up a little bit of cactus here from my very temporary farm. And here goes another 3 boxes of materials, almost all full. And I want to start with the biggest roof here, so grabbing up all of our gray blocks here, along with a lot of dark oak as well. And to start this off, let's start extending in the trim. Want to add in a dark oak trapdoor line here. Extending this out 2 extra blocks on both sides. And then we just start extending up a classic roof shape here. Then taking our cyan terracotta, grey concrete, and grey wool here, we just gotta start extending in the actual roof. And before I do this, let's maybe light it up in here because I don't want a lot of mobs. Cool, now that's the first roof in. For the next roof style, I switched out the dark oak for spruce for that little bit lighter texture. The roof itself is made out of moss, green terracotta, and green wool. I then added the roofs to the 3 white towers using the palette with moss in it. The building with the unique gradient, I decided to give a blue colored roof, and I would have loved to use prismarine here, but had to stick with warped wood and cyan wool. The roofs are looking absolutely amazing, but we still have one tower top to finish, and I want to pop over to the world that I started this channel with. And this right here is it. It has been over 3 years since I made this world, and that makes it my oldest survival world that I still have. But a little under a year ago, I built my first ever castle on this world, and I absolutely love this portion of the castle. So I want to take that part of my old castle and put it on top of here. And with that, all of the roofs, walls, and main shapes are fully completed. And I think we can move on from phase 2. Next up, I gotta fix up the terrain because currently both of our gates are flying. And well, we can't have that, can we? So let's quickly make a list of things we need to fix. And well, first has to be the main entrance. Can't forget about the back entrance. Now I also need to fix up this cliffside because, well, it's flying a little bit. And also need to tidy up the mountainside here because currently you can just jump into the castle. And I should probably take a trip around the castle and just make sure that it looks like the castle actually sits in the ground and not just on top of it. Might as well start with the main entrance. So we'll start out with extending out some coarse dirt here just to get the shape of the terrain. And then we'll thicken this out a little bit because, well, one block path doesn't really make sense. And next up, no one likes a flying pathway, so let's extend it into the ground. And yep, that definitely did the trick. And we can now check off the first thing off the list. And now let's quickly extend in the back. And with that done, time to tackle the thing I'm most scared about, which is the cliffside. But it will be fine. It will be fine, right? For the cliffside, I first added in a platform to place scaffolding on. I then extended a cliffside going from the edge of the building into the already existing cliff. I shaved away the mountain a little bit here and added in another platform. We'll have to add some defense on that later, but later. Because next up, I want to do something that I usually neglect. And I am very bad at connecting my builds so they actually look like they are going into the ground and not just sitting on top of it. Because if you look at this wall right here, it just looks like it's on top of the ground. And to do this, I think we need a few leaves. And I will try this backside first so we get it working because, well, we are not going to be seeing this much anyways. First, let's try adding a trim at the bottom of some coarse dirt. And we'll make sure that this sticks out a little bit and doesn't cover every single block. And now we'll come in with our leaves here and, well, we're just kind of like stack them up and going out a little bit. We'll add in a few stone buttons just to give it a little color, and maybe these have like fallen off of the wall, and that would make a little sense at least. Then under some of these we'll also add in a little bit of spruce fences just to seem that it is actually a little bit like supported and has some stems. And back over in the cave, do I have any... Oh, I don't think I have any sweet berries in this world. I cannot find any sweet berries. The fact that I have not used this in this world yet is just coming back here through my new portal under the cave. And this is stream project I'm working on. And I stream at least once a week on YouTube. So you're always welcome to go and check out a stream. And adding in the sweet bushes, once these grow, they'll give a little bit of color. And I think that's enough. And yes, I like this. So let's continue extending it. And I've now connected the whole castle into the ground. I also extended off some stone parts next to the castle where it was stone, just so it would fit in a little better. And as I again walk on this path here, we can move on from phase number 3. And it's finally time for the phase I've been waiting for, the detailing space. But I gotta fly over and get a few blocks now. And let's see, I should have a little bit of glass here. Yeah, this might be enough. So next up here, I want to start adding in a few windows, and we'll first pop out a little bit of andesite to kind of mark out where I want these windows, and I think that's good. And we'll start breaking the wall upwards. We'll continue to polish andesite into the castle, extend the walls in just one block here, and then we'll extend in some windows here using a little bit of cyan to contrast the white. Then we're gonna first of all add in an anvil at the bottom. We'll then extend up a little bit of polished deep slate. At the top we'll add in 2 polished direct stairs. And then a little bit of deep slate. And then connect these 2 pillars with some spruce fences. And then on the sides here we'll add a few dark oak trapdoors. Cool, now that's the first windows added in. And I gotta say, they're looking great. After the main windows were in, I started to add in some details to the wall to make the castle a little more defensive. Next up, while we're on the defense part, I want to make some polished andesite stairs. And on the outside walls here, I gotta add in a little bit of defenses in the walls as well. Then if we pop inside of this tower, for example, we add in the andesite stairs, which will be like a point where you can shoot arrows at people, maybe attacking the castle. And even in the foundations of these, pointing inwards here, since we don't have a gate at the front here, it might be good to add some shooty holes. Yep, that's the official term now, shooty holes. Next up, let's grab our cyan stained glass again. And I want to add in even more windows here so that we can get to the more minor details. After finishing up this tower, I ran around to all the other towers, adding in cyan glass as their windows. Now for this unique tower over here, I'm thinking, since I have these gaps here, I'm thinking of extending a little bit of jungle log. Strip that down, of course, add in 2 white stained panes, and we'll place a spruce block on the bottom. Stripping these down will match the rest of the castle in its tone a little more, and well, stripped just looks a lot more better than not stripped. I'm going to open this wall up here because I eventually want to add in a balcony here. On this side, we'll add in some windows instead. And we'll have 1 more window over here. Now, there's still a few flat walls and, well, a lot of things we need to fix. But for now, I'm happy with the amount of windows I've added in. So if we pop back over to the cave, grab a little bit of amethyst shards. Then buying a little bit of glass from our villagers. Crafting that up to some tinted glass now. And flying down into my nether portal. All the way over here. Saying hi to King Norm, of course. And then checking out down here. And I need a few frog light. And ouch, back over the castle. On the inside of all of these openings, I want to add in a little bit of tinted glass and then some frog lights around that. I recently saw Fwip using this in his world, but I think he got it from B-dubs and Scar. And I'll leave this in here until I actually get around to doing the interior. And I just quickly want to check how this looks on a larger scale window. Yeah, that looks all right. It doesn't look too bad, but it's also temporary and it does look better than just seeing nothing. Now that it's a little bit darker, I think you can see what I'm going for here. It looks like there's something in there, but it isn't too bright because of the tinted glass. Had to grab a few more amethyst shards down in the geode here. And I'm guessing you have figured out that we're not doing an interior because the interiors look like this right now. That should be all the windows covered for now, except like those 2, but I'll figure those out in a second. So next up, I want to start fixing up all of these pathways I have going around. Like these don't even have any floors in them. I gotta finish that up. Also gotta add some things to these sides because they're looking very flat. I think we'll add in a layer of andesite up. What I was gonna say is that we're gonna add a layer of andesite here that you can walk on. On the sides up here, we'll start adding in a few details. Then right here, we'll add in a little bit of a staircase just so that we can get down to the lower level. Fill that in with some andesite. And this got quite boring now, so let's add in some granite here to just give it a little bit of color. Next up, since this area here is looking so flat, and then I want to start adding in a few spruce logs along this side so we can add in like a walkway here. Then we'll add in some spruce logs. Then we'll add a stair here that leads up into this walkway. A few temporary blocks before we add in some spruce trapdoors. That at least added something. We can add in a few windows up here maybe. And then maybe something's hanging on this and we'll decorate this. Oh, this will be the entrance. On the bottom of this building here, I want to add in a little bit of mud. And then we can decorate this with a little bit of deep slate just to add a little depth at the bottom here. And with the mud in, I want to add in another little walkway up here. We'll just start it off here and then we'll go up a few blocks. Extend in our spruce logs. And I actually have a bit of warped wood here with me. So if we craft all of this up into trapdoors, warped trapdoors are the best. Of course, spruce trapdoors are better. And yeah, that looks a lot better than just the spruce. So I think we'll switch this up as well. Quick pit stop over the cave here. I want to grab some crimson. And yep, the splash of color really helped that. So I have a quick oxide daisy here. And with this oxide daisy, we can craft with a paper into a flower charge pattern. I want to grab some green wool. Then on this green batter, I want to add in a cyan cross, a green brick pattern, then on this adding a lime flower charge, and then on top of that adding a cyan one, a little pointy thing at the top, and then this one right here. A very nice banner design for the castle, but I thought these would be some great detail to add to our gates, just for a little bit more color in here, and well, they look pretty awesome. And then the final ones down here at the front gate. That looks pretty awesome. Now taking some dark oak fence here and some cyan and green wool, I want to try adding in a big one of these. So we'll add in some dark fences at the top, then extend down a little bit of green wool and add in a little bit of cyan. That adds in even more color and more details, and that is looking lovely. If we're going to start decorating down here, I need to actually move away my shulkbox mechs, and well, I'm going to take the nearest building, and that is this one. And for the rest of these details, I have quite a big shopping list to go get. I totally didn't spend the last 30 minutes in here looking through the boxes. No. I do, however, have all of these blocks, but it's not all of them. I do need to get some blocks. To be fair, I am amazed at how many blocks I actually did have. I need a little bit of mossy cobblestone. Craft that into some slabs. Craft up a few beehives here. And I need a few copper stairs. Now 6 things left together. And first thing of that is just a few flowering azalea. And hopefully the green ships I have in here are enough because, well, the wool farm is empty. I just need to pick these 2 flowers right here and fly all the way over to the swamp. Oh, and there we have the flower I need. I'm gonna grab a few extra. Back at the core hill, I need one more thing. I need these, and I need like a stack of them. And that is the last few items that we should need to finish off this castle. And so why don't we start over at this tower here and actually finish this? So we'll start off with adding in a few windows here and, well, fences and windows on this side. Run a dark oak beam across the top, and in the middle we extend on a few chains, and then we start connecting a little bit of iron bars, and then a few iron bars below this to be an actual gate. On the front now, this needs a little more support, so adding in a few slabs, a few crimson trapdoors to add a little bit of color here, and some shutters, of course. And at the top, we'll add in a few dark oak trapdoors and a few dark oak fence gates. To finish up the front, I added in the balcony that we talked about earlier. Decorating the inside windows as well. Can't forget a little flower here. Adding in a few trapdoors. Adding a few buttons as well. Then moving on to the inside, we add in the same support. And then we'll add in 2 chains on each side. And in the middle of these, some flowering azaleas. Campfire and a fence gate. And whoop, no burning. Perfect, that's a little window, and that's it for this tower. Then on this tower, we'll add in a flower pot place right there. I actually also want to give these a little bit of an upgrade, add in a little bit more spruce here to sprucing it up. Haha, so funny, right? And with that tower done, I went over to the other towers in the same style and gave them the same upgrades and details. Might as well put in the second gate here because, well, this castle only has 2 gates. Maybe not the most secure castle, but it's only me in this world. It doesn't really matter. And then on top here, since we're outside, we'll have to do something a little bit different from last time. We'll just extend in some granite, and we take our logs again and just run them across. Chains, of course, and a few finer details. Now, this side right over here needs a little bit of love. Might as well finish this building up while we're at it. So want to add in a doorway up here, and above this doorway I also want to add in a window. Quick little window with 2 flowers. Quickly finishing off the door. I actually have the middle block here out one, so it gives it a little more depth. It's not super visible, but it's a small detail. But with that, this building is done. I just gotta add in the frog light thing, but I'll do that in a bit. This big building here is going to need an entrance, so I'm thinking we extend in a little bit of stone brick. Add in a deep-seated wall and some spruce fences on top of that. And this is where some of that copper comes to use, along with a little bit of mud bricks. Quick run over to my honey farm and grab a stack of honeycomb and whoop, and just wax all of that. My brain was too mushy after hours of building, and I couldn't talk anymore. So I turned on some music and started going ham with the detailing. Now I'll need the sign wool and the green wool we got earlier, along with a few chains that I already have, and stack some scaffolding up here. So I want to extend in another banner on this side. So let's replace these 2 stairs, and then we'll extend down chains from these. And we extend in our dark oak log here, and then extending down the banner with the green wool and the cyan wools to match the smaller banners. Perfect, another banner added in. And now it's finally time to bring out the bubble coral I grabbed up earlier. And I've seen this design in multiple places, but I think Scar was the first one to employ this in his theme park build, where you place some slabs. And I chose to outline them with polished andesite because, well, it fits with the rest of the build. You waterlog these slabs, and I gotta grab another water bucket, so whoop, down to the lake. Yeah, it's an ocean. And you waterlog all of these, and then on top of them you want to place in some bubble coral, or, well, any coral, and you get a really colorful plant. So I want to add a few more of these because, well, they look awesome. And let's quickly clean away this beacon because it's been here for way too long. And then I quickly want to extend in some sort of like well. cool, but it's looking a little empty with just that, so let's go around and place in a few details. And well, with that, this castle is finally fully built. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me so many hours to create. I think I was just past day 1200, and well, I'm almost on 1400, and that is only the time that I have spent in game. I've spent a lot of hours editing as well, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and why don't we hit it with a little bit of a b-roll. So thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.